Welcome to another episode of UCRD Reviews. So, today I decided to do something a little bit different. I picked up a figure from the Gundam Universe line, the first line to be simultaneously released in both Japan and America for the first time since the old MSiA days. I haven't really paid too much attention to the line, firstly because it's 1/100 scale, so it's a little bit bigger figures than Robot Spirits, and it also just didn't have any figures that really interested me until they released this. So this is the RX-79G Ez8, Gundam Ez8 from 8th MS Team. I've been waiting for a Robot Spirits release of this for a very long time. The only thing we really had was the old MSiA, but they decided to make it in this line before Robot Spirits. And you get a cool code for the Ez8 and Gundam Battle Operation 2 for the PS4. So I picked one up, and we're going to take a look and see how these Gundam Universe figures are. You can see it's more Americanized packaging. It's got the little hanger there, and it's open windowed, a little bit more flashy, especially on the back. You have the also available, so you got the Wing Zero from Endless Waltz and the Strike Gundam. So it shows off some of the articulation, which is one of my main concerns, is actually the articulation. But we will take a look at all that. So let's go ahead and dig right into the figure and see what we got here. Alright, so here is the Gundam Ez8. So hopefully you can tell it's quite a bit bigger than the any of my Robot Spirits. Maybe it's about as big as like S Gundam or something, Gundam Mark V, my K signature stuff. So the sculpt of it looks pretty good. I mean, it's got a lot of detail in there, which is to be expected. Being a larger figure, they're able to get more detail in it. Let's grab the backpack here. And this is kind of disappointing. There's not really any detail to this. These don't move. It's really light. There's just not anything to it. Looks like no gimmicks. It does fit just fine, but it's strictly just to be sitting back there. So on the head, you do have some like I said, some pretty nice detail through here. In terms of articulation, you can't turn much more than that. If you keep going, the head might, it pops off. So, not a whole lot of turning there. Up and down movement is almost non-existent. In the arms, it looks like you just have a standard ball-jointed shoulder, which will rotate around. The shoulder armor will rotate with it, and it'll come out about that far. In the elbows, it'll come up to about there, and the hands look like they're a single ball joint. You have a shield connector on either arm, or a hard point rather. The waist doesn't hardly turn. You have almost no up and down movement. Skirt armor looks like it's kind of ball jointed, more hinged. It just comes up and down. These spare magazines are not removable. Rear skirt armor is actually soft plastic, but is not movable otherwise. And the front skirt armor is very stiff and not really movable either. Yeah, it looks like, so it just kind of pegs in, and this piece will rotate up and down. So you don't get hardly any movement out of that. I mean, like it comes up to there and goes back down, so almost nothing. For the hips, let's see here. They do have the ball jointed hips, it looks like. So the leg will come out about that far. This is all the knee articulation you get, which it looks like it would have a lot more, but you barely get a 90-degree articulation. It has hip rotation to some degree. Yeah, I mean that's not bad there. So you have hip rotation, which is pretty good, but the knee articulation is just pretty terrible. The legs can come out quite a bit, and with the feet you have that's forward, backward, and you have a decent amount of side to side. Looks like they're just double ball jointed. So this is a case of looks great, doesn't perform great. There's no real gimmicks to this, it's just kind of the figure itself. So let's see if it redeems itself in the accessory department. Okay, so first up, we're going to take a look at this piece. If I can actually get it out of there. There we go. So this is a stand adapter for your for all the stands that I typically use. This actually attaches back here and allows the Ez8 to be on a stand. So that is a nice accessory to have. And then we also have the hands. So this is all you get for hands. You have a gun hand for the right hand and a beam saber hand for the left. So you can't really alternate weapons or anything like that. They are single ball joints and not really much to them. They hold the weapons well, but you get one of each and that's it. And I just threw one. Then with the beam sabers, so this is the beam saber hilt, which doesn't look all that accurate to what it's supposed to look like. You get two of these, and then you have these like solid pink painted beam saber blades, which don't look very good at all. They're not clear like the robot spirits. They look fake. I mean, they're toys, but the robot spirits ones have, more of a flaring effect usually. Even the version anime 0079 ones that don't have the flaring effects, I mean, they're at least, a clear color, a translucent color, instead of just solid pink. I mean, this thing looks like it's just emitting liquid bubble gum or something. So this is kind of disappointing, but you get two of them. And the shield, so it's hollow on the inside. You have just a standard arm connector that rotates, and it's got the double armored version, which is correct for the Ez8, and it clips right onto the arm. So pretty basic. I mean, how can you mess up the shield, right? Well, these shields are actually supposed to kind of rotate themselves forward and become a punching weapon, which is a gimmick the old MSiA actually had. This one does not, which is kind of disappointing. I know it's kind of nitpicky, but it's a simple mechanism to make, and one that they had no problem making 20 years ago, so I don't really understand why we're missing it now. And lastly here, the weapon. You only get one gun, and this is the 100mm machine gun, the standard weapon for the ground Gundams. It does have the properly colored magazine, and the handle here is supposed to be a wire, or the stock here, I'm sorry, is supposed to be a wire stock. It's not supposed to be solid right here. I mean, the Ez8 has no way of looking at his target. And I just noticed this is actually on the wrong side. So this is the folding handle. So let's do something here. Where's his hand? There we go. So the Ez8 is holding his gun. Well, I'll get it in there better than that, but just holding his gun. Say he wants to use his folding handle, which is over here. He'd have to use it like this or something. they molded this thing incorrectly. It's like a lefty gun on a righty mobile suit. So that's a really big negative on this. Again, the magazine's not... Oh, magazine is removable. Hey, look at that. You have to kind of pry it off of there. It doesn't even... It looks like it's been glued. I don't even think it's intended to be like that. Yeah, now it's kind of loose. So I think I just ripped it off of the gun. But it should have been removable in the first place. This doesn't move, and even the folding handle doesn't actually move. So this is incredibly disappointing that they released it like this, especially with a glaring mistake like that. So not impressed with the accessories. Alright, just to show the size difference between the two figures, we have our ground Gundam with another ground type Gundam, the GP01. This is the Robot Spirits version, and you can see the Ez8 is a full head taller than the GP01, so there is a pretty big size difference. It's bigger in the arms, bigger, the feet are larger, just about everything. So the GP01 looks much better than the Ez8, but that's the size difference between the Robot Spirits and the 1/100 scale. Okay, so here are my final thoughts on the Ez8, and they're not good. I already found something else to complain about just in the time that I took to set them up here. The stand piece actually rotates all around, and you see he just wobbled right off of it. So if you want to lean him forward, the figure will lean forward, not the stand piece. He's just kind of loose up there. I did go in the instructions to confirm that I connected it to the right spot, and I did. It's just really loose, so I wouldn't even trust the stand piece. But there's not a whole lot of poses you can do with the Ez8 in the first place, sadly, just because the articulation's not all that great. I watched some YouTube videos, and nobody had anything really negative to say about the Ez8, not much. But I think a lot of the problems I found with it today just weren't addressed. One thing that got brought up a lot is this is a budget figure. It's a $25 figure, which is at least half the cost of Robot Spirits. But at the same time, it's larger than a Robot Spirits, so you should be able to get more out of it easier because of the size. And there's little things like the way the beam sabers look, the way the gun was molded, the shield gimmick. Those things weren't done and could easily have been done and still obtained a $25 price point. This Ez8 is worse in a lot of areas than the MSiA Ez8 that came out in America 20 years ago. I mean, there's no reason for that. Even being a budget figure, they should still be releasing something with decent quality, even at $25. I mean, you can go with different brands and get something less than $25 and have it be even better. But like I said, there's just not a whole lot you can do with this. They look great standing, if that's all you're going to do with them, or if you'll keep them in the package, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking to pose it and do a bunch of crazy stuff with it, it's worth saving your money and getting the Robot Spirits, just because there's not a whole lot you can do with this, unfortunately. So this may be my first and last Gundam Universe figure, but we'll see what they have in store for the future. So thank you for watching the review. Let me know what you think of it down below, if you picked any up, if there's a better one out there. I know there's the Unicorn Banshee, there's Death Scythe, I think, has been released. So let me know if any of the other ones are better. And thank you for watching the review, and I will see you next time.